With that, let's welcome in Brad Sellers. He works for the Cavs. He's part of the UCSS family. Brad, how you doing this morning? I know it's a tough day when a team has to relieve their head coach of his duties.
Well, Mike, I'm doing good. I'm doing good today. Okay, you guys hear me?
Yes. We hear you fine, Brad. Good to see you again. Do you think the Cavs did the right thing in firing JB or no?
Well, whether it's the right thing or not, I just think that there comes a point in time here where organizations always decide whether they are headed in the right direction. And let me be clear, it has nothing to do with JB as a person. And I thought he did an outstanding job for the stuff he was handled from the beginning, from his onset here, and where he ultimately left off here with the Cavaliers. But there's always a time where people are always reassessing. I said that after the season, I think on our final broadcast, there will be only one team that isn't really reassessing where they are, and that's the ultimate winner of this NBA title this year.
Brad, now that it's official that JB is gone, have you had time to process some of the other candidates out there and who you think that they should be looking at?
Well, you got to make a decision, Ty, as to where you're going here. Right, you've got to understand that this league is younger, so there's an idea that you have to be able to have a good rapport with some of the younger talent. But obviously, as you know, this league has to have leadership and to a point where people understand ultimately what you do on the floor is how you're judged, and that goes from the coaches to the players to everything else. I mean, obviously that. The decision has been made for the organization that they're moving forward. But when I look out here on the landscape, you got a couple routes to go. You can go untried and true talent. I see like J.J. Redick's name being bounced around a bunch of places, guys who have never coached before. But that don't mean they don't have an acumen for knowing the game of basketball. Then you have guys like Frank Vogel, who just got released, guys like that in that realm, which we would probably call retreads. Or you can get creative out here. I've always wondered why, there's Mark Jackson sitting on the sidelines for a number of years now, and for teams that are looking to make a change. I mean, is a person like that considered?
Brad, these are obviously complicated, and there's not just one quality, but if you had to pick, what's the most important quality they need to find in the next coach?
Well, I just think that you got to have, and I don't know the dynamics totally of JB's locker room, because there's always, and Jason, there's always people biting at you, all the time. Everybody's not always pleased. I mean, I ain't walked in one locker room yet where everybody was happy, and that's just going to be the case. I think, though, that as you look forward, somebody's got to have a pedigree of understanding, one, what it means to be out here on a daily basis, making sure that the players are prepared to do that. So understanding what the work regimens are, making sure that people aren't overworked. Secondly, I'm from the old school. Ability to me equals availability. You have to be available to come to work. And I think that was one of the downfalls of having the JB. Everybody was out this year, right? And you see that does not have the weight that it once did, where people would say, okay, he didn't have everybody. They obviously felt that they had to make a move. And I think from the standpoint of that, Jason, the next person coming in here, it's probably going to be a brand new ball game. Because the one thing, if I can read in between the tea lanes, because I read, Jason, I read your little article. I read your little article.
I think a lot of people over there did.
We'll keep it 100. I read your little article. And I'm going to just assume that you're coming from a source and not from the cup. So let's just assume that is the case, right? The one thing that players do want, they want to be coached. I haven't met a real player that didn't want to be coached. And that sometimes is really holding people accountable. And the next person here is, there's a distinct difference with what could happen here. You could get a hardliner in here like Tibbs in New York. He's a hardliner. Tibbs was my coach in Minnesota. Right? They're no nonsense guys. They want to hear your story. What time is work? Are you there? And if you're not there, then you go sit down in the corner. And when you go forward here, it seems like to me, if I read your story, there's certain players here that want to make sure that everybody's held accountable. because you can't get to the mountaintop without ever being held accountable. Second thing is for this is I think the landscape for what is in Cleveland, they have a good foundation. They got to shore up some things. Donovan Mitchell being one. Are you with us or are you not with us? I think that is an inclination for any new coach coming in here. He's going to want to know that.
Brad, do you think there's going to be, is it Donovan or Darius? Do you think one of them will be gone at the end of this, this offseason? Or not necessarily?
Well, I think that's going to be measured. I think they've run the gamut of trying to have two small guards in the backcourt, and with I would say with mixed results.
Yeah.
And at some point, either it is or it isn't. But you can't squint your eyes and make something that is not is. If you understand what I'm saying, right? Yeah. So I think there's enough bandwidth for two because I heard you guys talk about Joe and Zeke, and I played with Joe and Zeke. It can be done, but there has to be a understanding of where we're going. And understanding of where we're going is that we're doing whatever it takes to win it all. And if that requires me to give up a little bit of myself and let somebody else come in and do a little bit more, then that's the case. But to be honest with you, it takes a certain type of person to understand that. Now, I don't know what the dynamics are, but on a talent level, is there room that it can be done? Yeah. But I don't know what they're going to do. But I think the first marker bull is Donovan Mitchell coming back or not?
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Because if he says he doesn't want to come back, then that's going to leave them with, to me, very few cards to play.
Yeah. Last thing, Brad, who's going to win the NBA title this year?
Well, I don't know, but I would tell you this. I've enjoyed the playoff run. I really enjoy watching Minnesota. They're enjoyable. I don't think Indiana, what I saw in the meltdown the other day, is just proved to me that they're not ready to do it. Now, Kyrie has been impressive, and those Mavericks have just kept coming. So I think it is, if I had to choose one, I think it's going to be the winner of the Minnesota-Dallas series because I'm not sold on Boston. Boston barely got away from us, and we didn't even have a full crew. I'm just telling you. Because if they had a full crew, they would have given them the business. Because you never know what team Boston going to show up.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. Brad, good stuff,
Come on,
man.
Tyvus. You usually quick-witted. I ain't hear nothing from Tyvus today.
Nothing, Tyvus?
What you mean?
Come on, man. I thought you was a savant. Basketball savant.
Listen, right now, if you're talking about the remaining 4 teams in the playoffs, it's hard. Yeah. I know everybody is on this Minnesota train, man, but Kyrie got that experience, man, and he went out there and poetry in motion, Brad. Poetry in motion. Anthony Edwards got to lace him up. He going to have to lace him up because my boy Kyrie ain't playing.
Look, Kyrie is playing, but I tell you what, a lot of poets and painters and muses didn't get recognized till they was dead. So I don't care what you're talking about.
Thanks, Brad. We appreciate it.
The question is, will the Timberwolves bounce back the next game?